Texas Tech needs to save itself, and I think they need to do it quickly. We will explain. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do us well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. And make sure you ring that notification bell if you want to support this college football's independent, national, rebel outpost with a donation to help us keep the lights on and grow the channel. Just hit that $sign where you make your comment, and I will get you super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. It is Tuesday, June 9th. Later tonight, it's been reported. I don't know if it's happening now, an hour from now. There's going to be a virtual meeting, SEC, Big Ten, presidents, yada, 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 with Cruz and Cantwell. We'll see what the report comes out of that meeting. We are going to, Kenneth Maynard, all FBS schools, chancellors in North Carolina, co-signed the full support of the Cruz-Cantwell bill today. We are going to start off our program with that. We are going to start off our program with that. But before we get into that, I want to tell you what else we're talking about. Texas Tech. I believe they've got to save themselves. Itself. I know Jay Billis and others have said that Sorsby's not going to be allowed to play. That the NCAA appeal might get quickened up somehow, some way. The College Football Playoff, LLC, might jump in. Matt Hayes is talking about that. Other people are talking about saying that Texas Tech should not play Sorsby. If they do, they're not going to be into the playoffs. We're not going to think about them. We're not going to have them as a potential playoff team. Others are reporting that the Big 12, all the athletic directors, everybody has come out against Texas Tech deciding to back Sorsby. I'm telling you, it's Texas Tech that has to save itself. They're the ones that are going to have to take the action. I mean, it could be stopped by other means, but Texas Tech really doesn't want that to happen. Do it yourself. We're going to get into that later on in the program. And the spotlight. I think it's our 45th team. 45th team that we have under the spotlight. 45th or 46. I do not know. I do not remember. Who is it today? It's the Alabama Crimson Tide. They are under the PATC spotlight. Woo! So that's going to be pretty interesting. Coach DeBoer, Alabama, they better make the playoffs. Kalen DeBoer, they better make the playoffs. PATC does not have Alabama in the playoffs. Does not have Alabama in the playoffs. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I do want to do a roll call here. Quick roll call here. MBM, Oklahoma State Cowboy, is in the chat. Oklahoma State Cowboy, MBM. The Georgia Bulldog, Don Scruggs, is in the house. Bruce Harris, Boomer Sooner, is here. Gold Nose, Florida Man, the Cornhusker himself. Skaven, yes. The Rutgers Scarlet Knight, Espic Tox, is in the house. RT is here. Go Pokes. Yes, every Big 12 school has publicly condemned Texas Tech's action. Bimba 75-79. Randy Taylor is in the house. Jay Chapman is here. Edward, the Auburn Tiger. Karan Shakar is in the house. We have not had Texas Tech under the spotlight yet. We have not put them under the spotlight yet. David Kreitzer is here. Utah Ute Stan is here. Jared Jones, Ohio State Buckeye. CRH, Utah Ute is in the house. Adam, PATC Go Gators, D5 Terps. Who else? The architect, Buckeye Greg is here. Ryan, Go Irish. Adam, Kenneth Maynard, Leslie Hill. Morris Simmons, Big Gun Shop. Bill Kukuza is in the house. Bill Kukuza, Hoosier Dave. Don Scruggs, Georgia Bulldog. Rodney Richborg, the Purple and Gold. King's Gamut is here. Rich Austin, thanks for coming on in. Rich Austin, Dante's Inferno Purgatory is in the house. All right. Grateful Trojan. Grateful Trojan. Let's start off with this. All right. Let's get into it. Hold on, everybody. We got a lot to cover today. Lots to cover. Yes, the Big Ten and the SEC presidents are going to be meeting virtually with the senators tonight. Ross Dellinger. The 5 FBS schools of the UNC system sent to lawmakers a letter of support for the Cruz-Cantwell Senate bill, notably on that list, UNC Chancellor Lee Roberts. A reminder that the Senate bill would prevent SEC and Big Ten from further expansion. Let's get into it. Let's absolutely get into it. First of all, here is the letter. The Honorable Ted Budd, United States Senate. Dear Senator Budd, on behalf of Appalachian State University, East Carolina University, North Carolina State University, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, the football bowl subdivisions institutions of the UNC system, we write to express our appreciation for Cruz and Cantwell for their bipartisan leadership in advancing the Protect College Boards Act of 2026. We respectively encourage your legislative engagement to address the uncertainties of intercollegiate athletes. And then in the next paragraph, it goes on about college athletics is undergoing a period of rapid and unprecedented change. NIL, a thoughtful federal framework is essential to bring stability, fairness, long-term sustainability to college athletics. While there are details to be debated and agreed upon, the Protect College Boards Act of 2026 represents a significant step forward by establishing a national standard to govern athletics. The legislation aimed to protect student athletes by preserving NIL opportunities while strengthening transparency, agent oversight, health, academic protections, and institutional accountability. Replacing the patchwork of NIL regulations, federal approach. For North Carolina, intercollegiate athletics is both an educational economic driver that supports student success, workforce development, and community impact. We are committed to maintaining the athletic programs that are competitive and firmly grounded in our educational missions. Federal legislation that reflects these values is critical, not only for our institutions, but the future for college athletics nationwide. Thank you for your leadership and for your continued support of higher education in North Carolina. We appreciate your consideration and stand ready to serve as resources as you evaluate its impact on our state students and institutions. All right. Now, it does here in the letter from 5 of these FBS schools, while there are details still to be debated and agreed upon, then it lists the significant steps forward. None of those step forwards have to do with pooling of the rights or the targeting of the Big Ten and the SEC. I mean, none of that is in there. Nor does this letter say we fully support this bill. It supports the effort of the bill. Well, here is the signatures. The Chancellor of Appalachian State, the Chancellor of North Carolina State, the Chancellor of the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, East Carolina University, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Now, we here at College Football Peek Around the Corner 100% absolutely understands when it comes to the Holy Smokes Theater, the political quagmire that North Carolina Chapel Hill is in. We reported to you months ago that North Carolina Chapel Hill internally wanted to have a stake in the ground on or before June 1st, 2027 on what their future is going to be, if they can possibly get it done. A reimagined ACC, file a notice of withdrawal to go to the SEC, file the notice of withdrawal to go to the ACC, doing that 6+ schools leaving the ACC to have a one sport football conference, whatever that is. North Carolina wants to get their Board of Regents, they want to get something done, but they know they don't really have the power. We here at Peek Around the Corner, we have done two things in the last couple of months. When it comes to North Carolina State in the Holy Smokes Theater. Number one, a couple of months ago, for the very first time ever, we have never done this before. We switched who was at the center of the stage. We never switched on Boise State when it came to the Pac-12 Mountain West. We never took Colorado out the center of the stage. You know what we did with USC. You know what we did with Washington and Oregon. This is the very first time, a couple of months ago, we took North Carolina out the center of the stage, even though they're the Southeastern Conference number one target, even though they're the Big Ten's number one target if you don't count Notre Dame. But we had to move them out the center of the stage because of the political situation in the state of North Carolina. Then, just a couple of days ago, and if you go back and watch it, if you go back and watch that live show, let me remind you, because I know we do shows all the time. There's so many things that are going on. I completely understand why people would forget this, or if you were not able to watch the live show. So let me show you something here. Talking about this report, the 5 signatures, 5 FBS schools, state of North Carolina. I posted today, it's why at CFB PATC, College Football Peek Around the Corner, a couple of days ago on our live show, we had the Wolfpack and the popcorn stand feeling pretty good. Right? The Holy Smokes Theater is under construction. The reason for that is, I really did not go into it, and I'm quite not ready to go into it yet, but the Holy Smokes Theater is under construction. There's a lot of moving parts going on. There's a lot of, with the Cruz Cantwell bill and the silo stuff. Look, this is the time to do the remodeling within inside the Holy Smokes Theater. But here at College Football Peek Around the Corner in the Holy Smokes Theater, we kept the front foyer open. We kept the bar open. We kept the popcorn line open. And if you remember, if you watched that live show, and a lot of you did, and for those who did not watch it, you can go back and watch it. But we made a heavy emphasis that there was heavy chatter behind the curtain. Over the last 3 weeks, with the Cantwell cruise, with the silo talk, these were the 3 winners inside the Holy Smokes Theater when it comes to positioning. The Miami Hurricane. It's been a good 3 weeks for all 3 of us. The Duke Blue Devil, yes, for different reasons. And the Wolfpack says, best days I've ever had in this building. I'm not going to go over the Miami thing. I'm not going to go over the Duke thing. We did a broad and deep analysis on why Miami and Duke was in the popcorn line. The Wolfpack, I'll go over once again. But again, you just saw some more evidence of that. This was just a couple of days ago. This is why we have updates in the Holy Smokes Theater, even though it's under reconstruction. Because the chatter, got to keep up. It's a quagmire in North Carolina. This whole cruise in Cantwell has given more political cover, more political power, more political persuasion to North Carolina State. There's no question about it. Again, this letter was not a letter of, we completely support all 5 of the schools, complete everything. We support everything in that bill. It doesn't even come close to that. But that letter was something that all 5 schools could agree upon. And North Carolina Chapel Hill has to walk a fine line on this. But make no mistake about it, as we said in that live show, we'll say today, the Wolfpack, politically, has never been stronger. Like, we're not saying that North Carolina cannot go, they are wanted. They are wanted. But what North Carolina State gets out of it, what they can extract out of it, I think is larger than it's ever been before. So, very interesting. The letter's out there. Again, it does not give a full throttle support of the bill. People got to read the letter. It does support some of the stuff, but none of the really controversial stuff that is in the letter. But anyways, more evidence, as we have in the title of our show tonight, more evidence on why we had to show you the popcorn line in the front foyer of the Holy Smokes Theater. It is a political quagmire in the state of North Carolina. Greg, updates have included a ton of ACC teams. Well, it's not static. Nothing is done. Nothing is delivered. Nothing is signed, sealed, and delivered. Nothing is imminent. A lot of positioning going on. You got to be nimble. You've got to be nimble. All right. Let's get to here. We got a couple of very generous super chats. Christopher Hooter, $2 holler. Thank you for starting us off today. I very much appreciate it. Christopher Hooter, UNC just playing the game for political cover. Look, they did not, that letter did not. If you actually read the letter, it's pretty vanilla. But of course, they felt the need to sign this letter along with the other 4 FBS schools in the state of North Carolina. And Christopher Hooter is absolutely correct. North Carolina is not going to piss off the Board of Governors. They gotta play this political game, and whenever there is the opportunity that presents itself, they're going to have to go to the Board of Governors. They're going to have to deliver a financial plan, and North Carolina State, by hook or by crook, is going to have to be taken care of, and probably more than ever before. Thank you, Christopher Hooter. Appreciate it. The Evil Badger, $5 holla. Hey, Texas Tech fans, what if a bookie wants Sorsby to throw a game? How will you feel if he does it? I'm sure they would feel bad about it. Look, I have received DMs from Red Raider fans that are completely against Sorsby playing. Texas Tech Sideline, which is a Texas Tech website message board. The person who runs that is completely against Sorsby from playing. So it's not 100% that the Red Raider fans want Sorsby to play. Now, again, Texas Tech fans, they feel victimized here. They see a lot of cheating going on in college sports. They say, why not us? Why not us? I understand some of that tribalistic feeling in college football. But this is a bridge way too far. Texas Tech needs to save itself before somebody comes in and saves them. And I will explain why that is a little bit later in the program. Eva Badger, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank you for the $5 holler. Mama Duck Clemson Tiger. By the way, we released episode 67 of Early Peak Cloak and Dagger members only episode. So for those who are a member of our program, go take a look at episode 67. It has to do something with the Clemson Tigers. So go check it out when you get an opportunity. If you want to become a member of our program, go to the link below the video, hit the link, go to the description box below the video, hit the link in the description box, and become a family member. Mama Duck, thank you for the $5 holler. Question. If this bill did pass, would the Big Ten and the SEC be adherent to this legislation, or could they still go silo? I think, but I don't know for sure. I'm not a lawyer or a judge. I just play one here at PATC. I think they can still go silo. But I think then that would have to constitute a complete breakaway from the NCAA umbrella and everybody else, in my opinion. But I could be wrong, Mama Duck. I could be wrong. Thank you for the $5 holler. I appreciate it. Kenneth Maynor, the Pirate Gator, massive super chat, $10 holla. Today on this show, Feinbaum called Yormark a coward, a clown, and a loser for not hammering Texas Tech hard. Said his statement was word salad. Said the Big 12 without Texas Tech is a bunch of sheep led to slaughter. Paul Feinbaum really said all of that. Wow. Yormark cannot act on his own. Yormark cannot get ahead of the story. He's just like Tony Petitti with Michigan. You got to confer with the presidents. You got to confer with the legal counsel. You got to figure out what is legal in the Big 12 bylaws. You got to make sure you have all the support behind you. I don't know how much quicker Mohr could be moving. And he's got to be careful what he says in public until it's the right. I completely disagree with Paul Feinbaum. Paul Feinbaum is a talking head. I'm a host of a YouTube channel. We can say things. But the commissioner, he can't get out in front of his ski tips too much, or you can get in a lot of trouble. Thank you, Kenneth Maynard. Thank you for letting me know that. I very much appreciate it, sir. Very much appreciate it. Thank you, Kenneth Maynard. Bruce Harris, we got a $2 holler. Greg is colder than Sorsby DraftKings account. Wow. Wow, what a shot. What an absolute shot from the Sooner. Bruce Harris, my goodness. How do you know that Sorsby was cold? Maybe Sorsby was winning a lot of money. Whoops. But probably not. Probably not. DB Cougar, thank you for coming on in. Going forward, DB Cougar, don't put your comments in all in caps. Okay, that's sort of a regular rule in all of these message boards. You can yell at me, but there's a way to yell at me without having to use all the caps. Okay, DB Cougar, someone needs to save the Big Ten and the SEC from themselves. It's time to open up the media rights and allow everyone to be together on getting media rights. All right, DB Cooper. I think he wants it mandatory or he wants it optional, but he wants the Big Ten and the SEC to wake up. Save them from themselves. Open up those media rights so everybody can get more money. All right. Thank you, DB Cougar. Black Quader Steel. Black Quader Steel. Thanks for coming on in. I don't think I'm saying your handle correctly. Miami had a 34-game win streak from 1999 to 2003 because SEC champ Florida, ACC champ Florida State were on Miami's schedule. Some idiot from the bowl committee thought Florida deserved to play Miami twice in one season. All right. Okay. All right. Here we go, guys. Let's get to it. We covered the letter, the vanilla letter that every 5 FBS chancellors, presidents signed in the state of North Carolina. We covered all that. Now, before we get into Texas Tech needs to save itself. Not have anybody else do it. They need to save itself. Let's get into first the I do declare, the update. Number 79. Prediction from the PATC Einsteins. Number 79. Sorsby will not play one snap this year for Texas Tech. Now, Maynard, I got a valuation of 3 points. Okay? If you believe the valuation, in other words, if you get it right, you get 3 points. If you get it wrong, it's -3. Maynard, I had no idea what I should do with this. So if you can make a good argument, if you believe this should be a 1-point valuation, 2-point valuation, 4-point valuation, 5-point valuation, let me know in the comments. I can be persuaded. Usually I can't. But this one is so discombobulated. I really could not come. I had no idea what I should do with it. So Kenneth Maynard, let me know. Is 3 okay? Do you want to go to 1? Do you want to go to 2? Do you want to go to 4? Do you want to go to 5? Just let me know. I'm not saying I'm going to agree with you. I'm just saying I really do not know what I'm supposed to do. Kenneth Maynard is showing me some grace. He's taking me off the hook. He's saying 3 is fine. I had really no idea what to do. So if you get it right, 3 points. If you get it wrong, -3 points for the Pirate Gator Maynard. Greg, did you see that a USC Stanford player filed a class action lawsuit? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Thank you for bringing that up, the architect. I'm not going to cover it because I can't possibly cover all the court cases because this show would become dry and boring. And I would have to continue faking like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to these court cases. And I only can fake it for a little bit before it gets ridiculous. I cannot do a whole show trying to persuade you all that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to these court cases, because obviously I do not. Alabama. The Crimson Tide. The spotlight is squarely on the Crimson Tide today. Woo! I came out early in the spring in my way too early order of finish prediction, and I do not have Alabama making the playoffs. Have I changed my mind? What do you guys think? Quarterback Keelan Russell. Whoa! I got the wrong name in there. Hold on a second. Hold on. I am blaming my production. I wonder how many more mistakes I've made. I apologize for that. Keelan Russell. 2025 stats. He played 2 games. 143 yards passing. 2 touchdowns. No interception. 73.3 completion percentage. 197.4 quarterback rating. Again, absolutely, he's played great in the little bit of time he's played. He is in a quarterback battle with Austin Mack. I do not have Austin Mack under the spotlight today because there's other Alabama players that I want to get to. I limit myself to 5. 5 players on a team, 5 times 68, and then we're going to do G6 teams. I'm going to go up in the about 400 number of players that we are putting under the spotlight before we are done. And I misspelled Keelan Russell. Well, this has not started well at all. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies. I happen to think, from what I've heard, I would put my chips down that Keelan Russell is going to win the quarterback battle. I say this because I think Keelan Russell, even though Austin Mack was recruited, committed, and all that stuff to Kalen DeBoer, I think Keelan Russell is the perfect prototype for a Kalen DeBoer's offense. So I think Keelan Russell is gonna win that spot, and really, it's hard. He's gonna have his struggles this year. First year starting quarterback, him or Austin Mack has played 5 games in his career. In 2 seasons, Austin Mack has played 5 games. Keelan Russell has played 2 games. Just to, so we're dealing with a wild card here at quarterback for Alabama. We're dealing with a wild card here in the first year of E.J. Cromwell. the nation's #1 running back coming out of high school from Jackson, Alabama. His high school stats, 2,600 yards, 12.6 average per rush. 12.6. Crowell. Boy, I'm having a hard time. I am misspelling everything here, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a struggle right out of the gate. Is this a signal that Alabama is going to have trouble this year? Or is this a problem with the host of the show? Is this my issue, or is this a deeper issue of Alabama? Anyways, the #1 running back out of high school. How much is he going to play this year? He's got to play. Alabama's running game has been horrible. No, I did not. Karan Shakar. I listed Ryan Coleman Williams in my posting, but I do not have all this room. I got him as Ryan Williams when we do the spotlight. But on X, I did put his correct name. Alabama's running game has been terrible the last couple of years. It was brutal last year. Brutal last year. Terrible. It's unbelievable that they made it to the playoffs. Unbelievable that they made it to the playoffs. Danielle Hill. Big bruising running back. Physical beast. But he struggled. In the limited times that he ran the ball, he was a short yardage, red zone guy, averaged 3.8 average per rush, 6 rushing touchdowns, really good out of the backfield, 28 receptions, 203 yards receiving. But Alabama could not run the ball last year. They got absolutely shredded by the Hoosiers, the Indiana Hoosiers in the playoffs. Indiana feasted on Alabama's offense. Absolutely feasted on Bama's offense. Bama needs to be able to run the ball again this year. E.J. Crowell, we'll see what happens. Ryan Coleman Williams, another player for Alabama that was disappointing last season. A lot of drop passes. He went from 48 receptions in his freshman season to 49 receptions in his sophomore season. 689 yards receiving, 4.1 average, 4 receiving touchdowns. A huge, 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 huge disappointment. He's got to get it back together. Ryan Williams got to get it back together. Their freshman running back is going to have to help. Keelan Russell is going to have to be further ahead than anybody could possibly expect from him. Yanzi Pierre, the outside linebacker of Alabama, incredible season last year. 14.5 tackle for losses, 8 sacks, 39 solo tackles, 52 combo. Sophomore last year, going to be a junior this year. Pierre is the monster of Alabama's defense. Now they got Saab, they got a couple of really good safeties. But this is the man, when you're watching Alabama's defense, you watch him coming off the edge, putting pressure on the quarterback, putting pressure on the running back. Big time player, Alabama's schedule. They begin the season against East Carolina Pirates. And the Pirate Gator, Kenneth Mohr, has put down, and I do declare, he has said that the East Carolina Pirates are going to upset Alabama. And that is a 5-point valuation right off the bat. Then Alabama plays at Kentucky, at home against Florida State. Last year they were embarrassed by the Seminoles. This year, can they flip it? Then at home against the Gamecocks, on the road against the Bulldogs of Mississippi State, at home against the Bulldogs of Georgia, October 10th. On the road at Tennessee, at home against A&M, on the road LSU. They play Georgia, Tennessee, Texas A&M, LSU. Home, away, home, away. That is a pretty tough stretch. Then on the road at Vanderbilt, at the end of the season, of course, the Iron Bowl at home against Auburn. Yes, Kenneth Mohr, you are correct. ECU Pirates, Alabama on ABC Sports, September 5th. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I am getting all fired up. So, Alabama, what do you think? Put in the comments, in the comments section. Where do you have Alabama? I just can't have them get into the playoffs. I can't do it. I can't do it. Texas? Come on. LSU? Sam Leavitt? Come on. Gunnar Stockton, Georgia? Trinidad Chambliss? Texas A&M has their starting quarterback back. Oklahoma has their starting quarterback back. And I think Garen Philo is going to be the starter at Florida. We'll find out. Alabama, number 6, is the best that I can do. I cannot see Alabama get into the playoffs. Karan Shakar thinks it's a rebuilding year at Tuscaloosa. I don't know if Kalen DeBoer has a rebuilding year left in him at Tuscaloosa. I know they made it to the playoffs last year. And they beat Oklahoma in Norman last year. But they were not close to Indiana. They were not close to I don't know, guys. Look, Ryan Coleman Williams, he's got to elevate his game. Their freshman running back, E.J. Caldwell, he's going to have to come right out of the gate and produce in Tuscaloosa. And Keelan Russell, Austin Mack, both of them, one of them, they're going to have to play. Their quarterback last year, who got drafted, Simpson, really high in the NFL draft, their quarterback kept Alabama in the season. He got Bama into the playoffs. Alabama, they lost 2 starters in their offensive line in the NFL draft. And they couldn't run the ball a lick. They could pass protect, but they could not run the ball. Alabama is going to need to run the football. Because if the defenses in SEC can load the box up against a first-year starter in Keelan Russell or Austin Mack, I don't know. Kalen DeBoer might not survive the season if Bama cannot run the football. All right. Big Gunshot, Big 12 meeting this Thursday. Yep. Hey, Greg, The Athletic has a story about today's Big 12 call. Okay, I'll take a look at it right now. I'm going to take a look at it right now. Kings Gamut. Greg has A&M too low. Ole Miss too high. I really like Ole Miss. I think they're going to be really good again this year. But I look, Texas A&M are going to be right there as well. Let me take a little bit of a timeout here. Hold on. Hold on a second. I'm taking a little bit of a timeout. Let me see what I can find out here. Hold on. This is a live show. We got to keep our head on a swivel. Thank you, Wolfpack, Justin Lucas. Hold on. At least I'm not spending time fixing my spelling errors. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not going to really cover that lawsuit. I got a few chats on that. Really not covering it. I can't cover every lawsuit. That's impossible. I'm going to have to let that one go. You're talking about the Stanford senior quarterback and some other player, right? Okay. Justin Lucas, who wrote do you know who oh, that's a free story. Well, not really. Yeah, I can't get into it. Yeah, I cannot get into it. I don't know. I have the athletic. I have the athletic. Who wrote the article? Justin Lucas. Yeah, I can't find it. All right. Alrighty, so it looks like, according to the little bit that I see here, it looks like everybody in the room in the Big 12 don't think that Swordsby should play, and of course Texas Tech disagrees with them. The Big 12 seems to be pretty aligned here. All right. Texas Tech. Dan Wolken, senior writer, Yahoo Sports. We're going to go through this real quick. An important thing seems to have been forgotten in the wake of the injunction that shook college sports to the core Monday. The entire circus around Brendan Sorsby could be avoided with one simple decision. Texas Tech could choose to do the right thing and tell the starting quarterback his services are no longer needed. Don't laugh. Yeah, this is college sports where everyone is looking for an angle, a good lawyer, a friendly local judge, where if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, where pressure to win makes the rules seem more like suggestions. But why is it too much to ask the adults at Texas Tech? Starting with the mega booster Cody Campbell and his underlings of the Chancellor Athletic Director office, just to suck it up and do the right thing here. Deep down, they have to know the revelations about Sorsby gambling addiction, the bright red line he crossed by gambling on college football games is disqualifying. These guys are not idiots. Campbell played college football, as did athletic director Kirby Holcott. They surely understood Sorsby committed the cardinal sin for any athlete in any league, in any sport, anything but the most severe consequences for an athlete who bets on their own games is a road to ruin. If this happened in the NFL, Sorsby would get the boot and there wouldn't even be a discussion. And regardless of the nonsensical injunction produced by a local judge that will likely allow Sorsby to play in 2026, while the various appeals get tied up in the legal system, Texas Tech has agency here. They have a decision. They actually have control. They have a say. The judge can say Sorsby can play, but there's nothing stopping Texas Tech from telling Sorsby that given the information that came to light after he transferred from Cincinnati, it would be best if he pursued recovery on his own time. Thanks and good luck. Now, I would change that to Texas Tech will be there for you. We'll pay for the whatever. If you need more help, we'll pay for it. We'll give you a little bit of this NIL money that we promised you, but you're not going to be able to play football at Texas Tech. Back to the article. That would be the mature and logical thing for an institution of higher education to do. Instead, Campbell was tripling down Monday night on his social media. In response to criticism from Georgia Athletic Director Josh Brooks, he sent a tweet asking how many Georgia football players have been arrested in last year. He challenged a critic to the Oklahoma drill. He retweeted a post from a Texas Tech fan claiming the Red Raiders are doing what any program would do. Campbell fancies himself the savior of college sports, using his money and political influence with Texas Tech Senator Ted Cruz to help shape the Protect College Sports Act. But what Campbell doesn't seem to realize is that no congressional bill is going to cure the fundamental sickness that is actively engaging in here. If you convince yourself there is no line and your competitors won't cross, you can give yourself permission to do basically anything. That is what Cody Campbell is doing. Everything's broken. Everybody's cheating. So we're going to play a quarterback who actually bet on college football. Somebody has got to step in at Texas Tech. They got to save them from themselves. And because Campbell and Texas Tech refused to cut the cord on Sorsby, when it's so obvious that's the only acceptable outcome for the health of college sports and for Texas Tech, I'll get that to in a minute, it's hard to imagine there will be any buy-in for reform with Campbell's name on it. Where's the chancellor? Where's Holcott? Where's the president? Where's the adults in the room to stand up to Campbell and tell him the truth? There is no number in someone's bank account that can save them from looking ridiculous if they are bound and determined to make themselves into fools. Sorsby is not worth all this. Whatever number of games Texas Tech expects to win this season isn't worth all this. They invested big in a quarterback with a gambling problem who broke a black and white rule with universal support in college and pro sports that has ended the careers of others. Tough break, but it happens. A program run by responsible, level-headed people would cut its losses and move on. Lesson learned. Cut your losses, Texas Tech. Instead, Holcott put out a statement Monday saying, "We do not believe that the circumstances of Brendan's case warranted permanent ineligibility." With all due respect to Holcott, which now seems like very little, that's both absurd and incorrect. There are no degrees in Sorsby transgression. You can't bet on your own games, period. In fact, Sorsby bet on a couple of games that Indiana would go under the total. It doesn't matter what the gray areas other schools are exploring with their athletes. It doesn't matter what Sorsby previous schools knew about its gambling. This is Texas Tech's problem now. And it cannot put Sorsby on the field this fall and be considered a serious institution or football program. The Red Raiders still have time to do the right thing. They can tell Sorsby that despite the ruling, they're taking a stand for a sensible and necessary NCAA rule that he should pursue his football career elsewhere. Anything short of that will forever make Texas Tech and Campbell a pariah and a national embarrassment that deserves every bit of scorn coming their way. Dan Wolken, senior writer for Yahoo Sports. Go check it out. Let me know in the comments what you think about that article. Was Dan Wolken correct? Was he too tough? I'll tell you what I think. And then we're going to open up the phone lines here. Texas Tech needs to save itself. It needs to save itself. The Big 12 might come on in here and save them. Or the CFP LLC might save them. In other words, they might take Sorsby off the football field. Or maybe not. But it is the Red Raiders that have to do it. Because if they don't, if somebody else takes Sorsby off the field, this is going to hang on the Texas Tech Red Raiders for a very long time. If the Red Raiders come out of this being the school that supports players who have gambled on the game, football, college football, and they believe they should play, then they will be a pariah. I believe that the Red Raiders have made a fundamental big mistake. I don't even know if the Red Raiders thought that Sorsby would win this. But they got to cut their losses. If they cut their losses, yeah, look, Will Hammond, starting quarterback, the Red Raiders are going to win a lot of games. But if they cut their losses now, yeah, a little bit of a damage to the reputation, a little bit of damage to the institution, but not really. Right? But if the Big 12, let's say that Brett Yormark thinks that he can give Sorsby 6 games suspension. Or that Brett Yormark believes that they can take Sorsby off the field completely. And let's say the Big 12 acts before Texas Tech acts. Or if the College Football Playoff LLC says, yeah, we're not going to allow Texas Tech in the playoffs. If somebody acts before Texas Tech, this is going to do real damage to the Red Raiders. The Big Ten has sat, they're having meetings saying that they're not going to play Texas Tech in any sport. The SEC basically saying the same thing. We have not heard yet from the ACC. You should not burn that bridge. The Red Raiders should not be, look, you can have your brand, you can have you're a little bit out there, you are the rebel, you are whatever, but you cannot go to this extreme. The Texas Tech Red Raiders. Now, I've been on the Red Raiders. I've been on Cody Campbell. I'm not doing that this episode, this live show. I'm at the point where everybody agrees basically on this, except for even some people in Lubbock, some Red Raider fans. Like I said, there are some reporters out there, Texas Tech Red Raider reporters, that are not supporting Cody Campbell on this. They're not supporting Holtcutt on this. But everybody outside of Lubbock, and not everybody inside of Lubbock, but everybody outside of Lubbock is agreeing on this. This is just a step too far. Sports, you cannot have players be eligible to play if they bet on the sport that they're playing. It's going to cause questions throughout the whole season. We should be talking Texas Tech football against Houston. The Red Raiders against the Cougars. We should not be analyzing every throw that Brendan Sorsby throws because we think that he might be on the take. Even if he's not. It's unfair to him. The pressure that he's going to be under. It's unfair to Houston. It's unfair to the Big 12. It should not be done. This is going to hurt the Big 12 way more than it's going to hurt other college football. But I think Texas Tech has to save itself before the Big 12 comes in and saves it. Let me know how wrong I got it once again. All right, let's open up the phone lines. 763-260-1333, 763-260-1333. Let me know what you think in college sports. If you call, the floor is yours. Super chats, the floor is yours. Other comments I will pick and choose depending on how relevant they are to the subject that we are talking about. Mohr Simmons agrees with me. PATC Einstein, Mohr Simmons actually agrees with me. Usually nobody in the chat room agrees. Oh, Rod Nix agrees with me. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. All right, thank you, Buckeye Greg. I appreciate it. I don't have it yet. I do not have it yet.
From
Canes fan 1993.
Canes fan 93. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it. The floor is yours.
How are you doing, Greg?
I'm doing pretty good, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and I appreciate you answering my question about that lawsuit. I had just gotten out of work and I saw it come across, so I didn't know. I joined the chat late. I didn't know if you
Yeah,
had
no
covered it or
problem.
not.
I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not smart enough to follow all this stuff. So,
It's also depressing, if I'm being honest.
yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah,
I
and it's the
understand not
same
wanting to cover it
stuff.
all the time.
Like, it's the same stuff, and I'm getting kind of, I don't know. Anyways, go ahead, sir.
So, I wanted to call you a few days ago, but I just didn't seem to link it up. Wanted to pick your brain on the Cruz-Cantwell bill if it passes, and I know we talked about how it would limit the Big Ten and SEC expansion. But I was thinking, especially with the ACC, a school like Miami could, in theory, pay the $130 million plus and buy back their rights, in which case the conference would not be acquiring that rights from the ACC. They'd be acquiring from Miami. Miami would own their rights again.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So I don't know how that prevents like Miami or UNC or any of these other schools, because, I mean, even if it means Miami has to go independent, quote unquote, for a year, right? They could very well, go ahead and do that and then move into the Big Ten because they're not being acquired from the ACC.
Yeah, that's a great point. Again, I don't have an answer to that.
No. I don't think anybody does, but I was just thinking about it. I was
how that Section 205 is worded about acquiring one's media rights. Does it mean acquired from the conference? Because the conference has Miami's media rights. But again, you're saying, of course, Miami has this exit. So does every other ACC school. They got to write a check, file notice with withdrawal, have a landing spot. Is that acquiring? Is that covered by the bill? I don't know.
Right, because like for example, Fox,
else it doesn't stop anything.
Right, because otherwise Fox couldn't, lend Miami a loan to pay that fee, right? Miami might have to come out of pocket directly to make it, clean. But at that point, I don't know how they can stop an independent entity like Miami from joining any conference when it's not covered underneath the way that bill is. Otherwise, that would be saying, like BYU couldn't join the Big Ten, for example, or, any other, I mean, BYU's independent now, but UConn or any other independent school.
Yeah. Also, let's be honest. I mean, I'm just going to throw that out. I'm going to throw this out here, Canes fan. But if everyone's going to know when they're voting, if there's enough traction, and I don't think there's going to be, but if there's enough traction where let's say the Senate passed it and the House passed it, and it's going to Trump's desk to sign, there's going to be a little bit of a time there, right, for Miami to file the notice of withdrawal.
Right.
Send in the check. Big Ten says you're in the following year, or whatever year that is. So, yeah. I mean, that's always a possibility.
And, I mean, I think you alluded to in a show or two ago, Miami has been preparing this for a long time and is basically just waiting for the green light, and they will be out tomorrow if the Big Ten would have them.
Yeah.
So I don't see any scenario where Big Ten doesn't just say, hey, we've had enough, let's go, and Miami doesn't have the check. I mean, for all intents and purposes, they've basically been told, like, it's all hands on deck, we're ready to go whenever the call is made.
Yeah. The Holy Smokes Theater is under reconstruction, right? Let me show you that picture again. The Holy Smokes Theater is under construction. We did a live show on this a few days ago. But the front foyer is open. People can go to the bar. People can go to the popcorn line. And you got Miami. You're sitting there going, it's been a good 3 weeks for us, for all three of us. And you got Duke saying yes for different reasons. And you got the Wolfpack saying best days I've ever had in this building. We're going to have to make a decision here at PATC. A couple of months ago, we had to make the decision to move North Carolina out the center of the stage and Notre Dame sits there. The next decision we have to do is, do we move North Carolina off the stage? Or do we move them off a little bit more to the side and somebody else joins Notre Dame at the center of the stage? And if somebody else joins Notre Dame at the center of the stage, who would that school be? Well, one of the attributes that school would need to have to be at the center of the stage, standing next to Notre Dame, the number one attribute, one, they would have to be wanted, which, and number two, they would have to have the ability to get in the exit hatch, right?
Right.
And Miami sort of fulfills all of that. So we're going to have to make a decision here, peek around the corner. Do we put Miami back on the stage? Because right now we've only got North Carolina and Notre Dame. And if we do put Miami on the stage, where do we put them on the stage? What do we do with Duke, who's also got attributes that the Big Ten, like we talked about in the live show, they got their exit hatch just like Miami. They've got the money, and they've got, they're in the state of North Carolina, and that blend that Duke would give the Big Ten where it comes to academic and research, which might be more easily sold to the public in regard to this political climate that we're in, where people don't want this duopoly. They don't want this complete dominance of eyeballs. With Duke going the Big Ten would not be a football eyeball move. It would be a move for other things. So Duke might become more popular as a potential candidate. So we got decisions to make here at PATC. That is why the theater is under construction. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry to cut in.
No, you're good. And I will just say this. You've always said relationships matter. And I will say that Miami has been working behind the scenes for quite a while on getting ready for this moment. And I would doubt if there was going to be a federal legislation coming down with the ties they have to President Trump and Secretary Rubio, that those individuals would allow anything to happen that would not be in the best interest of the university, given their ties there.
I don't know how much of a voice. I mean, Rubio's got Trump's ear on a lot of things, but I don't know if he has his ear on this subject.
I'm not necessarily saying that he has his ear. I just know that the president's got some family members that currently attend the university. One of his, I think it's his granddaughter, is on the golf team. So he's very tight with the university's leadership, and I would be very surprised if something was going to happen that they wouldn't get the heads up, like, hey, you need to do what you need to do ahead of time to make sure you're ahead of whatever the fallout would be. And the last thing I will say is you mentioned something, and I think is very important, especially being down here in the circles that I travel in. Sometimes it's what they don't say that speaks louder than what they do say. And if you talk to anybody who's plugged in down here, there are certain things that Radakovich used to say as far as, we're very happy with the ACC, et cetera, that now when you bring up conference affiliation, the university kind of sidesteps and won't really touch on the subject. And I think that speaks a lot louder, given their research and some of the things we're trying to do.
That's what we talked about during our live show.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
And so we're starting to hear that too at a booster and donor level. And I think that just lets you know that things are in motion, because there's no denials anymore. Now it's just sort of like, oh, I'm not allowed to talk about that sort of thing. So
we do have breaking news, Canes fans. So I got to let you go.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
I apologize, sir. Please call again.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you very much. We got breaking news. PATC breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Buckle up. Buckle up. Pete Knuckles on 3. The University of Tennessee President Donde Bloman statement on the SEC meet. People don't pay attention.
Call from
Rick?
Rick, can you hold on for a moment, please? We got breaking news.
You bet.
Okay. University of Tennessee President Donde Bloman started statement on SEC meetings with the senators. The presidents of the chancellors of the Southeastern Conference sincerely appreciate the opportunity to meet today with Cruz and Maria Cantwell regarding the Protect College Sports Act. This was a productive dialogue that enabled us to directly address the common views shared by our member universities while also recognizing the positive elements of the bill, working to establish greater stability in college sports. We are particularly encouraged that today's conversation affirmed a shared understanding of what will be required to secure a sustainable future for college sports, delivering the stability and certainty that our student athletes deserve and our fans want. We share a common goal of supporting student athletes, universities, athletic programs, and millions of fans who make college athletics such an important part of communities across the country. As conversations continue, we look forward to working together to ensure federal legislation includes a consistent national framework, appropriate rulemaking authority. In other words, government, you're not going to be the rulemakers. Sorry, Cody Campbell. Safeguards against unnecessary litigation, and effective alignment with the House settlement revenue sharing model. We are confident that through continued collaboration, these priorities can be addressed in a way that supports the long-term success of college athletics and protects the opportunities and experience that make college sports so meaningful. We pledge to work in the spirit of cooperation with Cruz and Cantwell, their staffs, SEC leadership, and members of Congress to redefine this important legislation in the interest of securing the future of college sports for the benefit of student athletes. That was Senator Plowman's comments. Not a whole lot there other than sounds like they had a constructive conversation, but I don't, I'll let you guys let me know what you think about it. Go ahead, Rick. Thank you for your patience. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you. I'm a real quick call. Tomorrow is the House settlement hearing with Judge Cousins. Hello?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, tomorrow is the House settlement hearing in Northern California.
Yeah.
With Judge Cousins.
Yeah.
Are you interested in broadcasting that?
Do you know what time that's at?
8:30 Pacific. I think that'd be what, 10:30 you?
That's a possibility. It's a possibility I'll be home then. Yeah. Okay. I'll take a look at it.
I've got some phone numbers if you want them. You can't see it. It's federal court, so they don't televise it. But you can play the audio live.
Oh, yeah. Are you able to tell me one right now or?
Yes, yeah, I'll give it to you right now.
Okay, give me a moment here. Give me a moment.
Yeah, take your time.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, there are two ways of doing it. One is a Zoom call-in line.
Yeah.
And the other one is a telephone conference line where you have to use an access code.
Got it.
Which one do you want?
Both.
Okay, let's start with a Zoom call-in line. It's area code 669-254-5252.
669-254-5252.
Correct. Or there's a second one too. Area code 646-828-7666.
646-828-7666. Okay.
Correct. The telephone conference call-in line is 888-684-8852.
888-684-8852.
And the access code on that conference telephone line, is 155-7087.
Access code is 155-7087.
Bingo, that's it.
Got it.
Thanks for taking the call.
All right, I appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rick. Big Ten just released a statement. Okay. Hold on, everybody. I know I'm way behind here. I did. The Donde Plowman is even though she didn't really say anything. I'm getting behind here.
Call from
Kate and the Diesel Freak.
Kate and the Diesel Freak. Can you hold on for a moment, please?
Yeah, sure, Greg.
I'm way behind. Okay.
Yeah, it's on up to the comments, Greg. Don't worry.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, I'm getting all that.
I can start whistling if you want, if it's easier.
No, why don't you call back? How about that? Call me back in about 5 minutes. I'm going to take the phone out the hook. There's a lot of things going on. Breaking news all over the place. Give me a call back, sir. I would appreciate it.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Everybody, I'm going to take the phone off the hook for a moment. Here is, and again, everybody, thank you for keeping your head on a swivel and sending me this breaking news. We've got another breaking news from the Big Ten. Statement from Daryl J. Pines, the president of the University of Maryland and the chair of the Big Ten Conference Council of Presidents and Chancellors. The presidents and chancellors of the Big Ten Conference were pleased to meet with Cruz and Cantwell to discuss their bill, the Protect College Sports Act. We sincerely appreciate the work they and their staffs have done and believe the dialogue was constructive. As a conference of 18 world-class institutions committed to academic and athletic excellence, we look forward to continuing to work collaboratively with Cruz and Cantwell and other members of Congress to achieve the shared goal of long-term stability of college athletics. So again, kind of a kumbaya type of comment. Nothing, hold on here. I am very interested in what Donde Plowman says, the chancellor of the University of Tennessee. Now, she didn't say much in that comment. She did say appropriate rulemaking within this bill. Like, we're going to make our, like, basically, I believe she probably told the senators, the SEC, we're not going to lose our sovereignty. So forget about that. But I'm interested in anything she has to say going forward, because she has let everybody know in public that she has been in discussions with the faction of the SEC that is thinking about a breakaway. She has let it known that her and the leadership of Tennessee and the leadership of Oklahoma, the president and the athletic director, the president or the chancellor and the athletic director of Tennessee and Oklahoma, therefore they are supporting if it comes down to it, a breakaway with a CBA. That is one of the things they want to keep talking about, develop, figure out. They want that to be a live option. So anytime that the leader of Tennessee talks from here on in, I'm going to be listening to her. Because I think it's going to be a great measuring stick. I think it's going to be a great check on what the SEC is really thinking about. Okay, let me Mowing After Dark. We'll get the phone up in a moment here. Mowing After Dark. $2 holler. I appreciate it, sir. You know, of all of Moen's elbows against me on being cold, this one's actually truthful. Greg is so cold he can never enjoy a Hot Pocket. Hot Pockets are horrible. I would never eat. I think I tried one. It's disgusting. It's meat and cheese, right? It's disgusting. Moen, you are absolutely correct. But it's not because I'm so cold. It is because I'm an absolute genius that I would never enjoy a Hot Pocket. All right. Thank you so much for the $2 holler. And let me make sure I'm caught up on that as well. No, I'm not. I do apologize, Christopher Hooter. $2 holler. We got Leslie Hill. Sorry, guys. I got behind. Covering all this breaking news. My apologies. $2 holler, Mr. Hooter. Texas Tech mucked up the Mike Leach firing, and here we go again. Thank you, Mr. Hooter. I appreciate your generosity. Thank you very much. Leslie Hill, another $2 holler. Sell a Pflugerville pocket Nike shirt, Greg. Well, I think I would be. I think Nike would take me to court, first of all, and I don't think I'm going to get them to be able to put out a Pflugarian Empire type of Nike shirt. So I don't think I can do any of that. But maybe someday I will reopen our PATC website, and we're going to sell some stuff that people can enjoy, including shirts and all that good stuff. We've done that before. Maybe we'll look at it again. Thank you, Moen. Thank you, Christopher Hooter. Thank you, Leslie Hill. Very much appreciate it. Now let's go back to the phone lines if I have covered all of the breaking news. Okay. One more thing. I'm sorry. Ross Dellinger. I apologize. All but 5 of the 34 Big Ten and SEC presidents and chancellors participated in 2 separate 30-minute calls. 30-minute call is not much time, ladies and gentlemen. You got 10 or 15 minutes introducing yourselves. 2 30-minute calls. That's pleasantries. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's nothing. A 30-minute call with Senator Cruz and Murray Cantwell and Eric Schmidt today, the Brendan Sorsby situation would have never happened Under the bill, the lawmakers say,
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
it should. I've been doing so good and not blowing my top off during this show. It would not happen now. It would not happen now. If it wasn't for the moron who wrote Bill Cantwell and Cruz, it would not be happening now. Oh my gosh. No accountability. No, we don't have this tightened up enough. Under this bill, it would never happen. Ross Dellinger, school executive expressed the need for federal legislation. Shocker. Support for portions of the bill, such as athlete protections against agents, and conveyed a desired timeline for passage of December 1st ahead of the football transfer portal. However, they noted concerns over the bill.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. Anxiety, filling up every space, no privacy, and silently, it could build and build until you finally see.
So, basically what the Big Ten and the SEC has done is the following. We finally got some news. They've given a December 1st deadline. I think the deadline is going to be earlier than that, but eventually. But they gave them a December 1st deadline before the football portal. If this doesn't happen, if this bill doesn't happen, the way that the SEC and the Big Ten wants this bill to happen, then buckle up. And I think there's a chance that we all know it's not going to happen before that December 1st. And we might have to buckle up well before December 1st. But there is a drop dead deadline of December 1st. And of course, the Big Ten and the SC had, we know that this thing ain't it. This bill is not going to pass. And even if it does pass, the Big Ten and the SEC are not going to abide by it. They're going to go their own way. 30-minute meeting, 32 separate 30-minute meetings. Yeah, you're not getting anything done with that. No way. No way. BYU football, I've been saying, don't be surprised if the Sorsby case gets tied to this bill. Look, there's no way the Sorsby case helps Cody Campbell and this bill. That is a very klutzy, clumsy Cruz and Cantwell. I bet the presidents are laughing at that. I bet they're laughing at that. I told you months ago that the Big Ten, I told you their feelings on Cody Campbell. This bill is not happening. I'm more interested in what Donde Plowman's saying. I'm more interested in what the Buckeyes athletic director Bjork is saying. I'm more interested in what Moorhead is saying. I'm more interested in any information that's coming out of USC above any. I'm more interested in all that instead of what's coming out of Cruz and Catwell, because this ain't happening. Not happening. All right, I do not have anybody on hold. I hung up the phone. Let's open up the phone line 763-260-1333. I'm glad we got more information out of this bill. I'm glad we got more information out of the meetings. Basically a nothing burger. 2 30-minute separate calls, disagreements. Nothing is happening.
From
Hayden the Diesel Freak.
Caden the Diesel Freak, thank you for your patience. The floor is yours.
Well, Greg, good to hear your voice again for a Minnesota golfer that I actually respect for one.
All right,
I'll give you
beautiful.
that.
We should be respected.
But unfortunately, I like to eat goldfish for breakfast. But
Okay.
that's just being a Buckeye.
All right.
But the whole Brendan Thorsby case, it's just a whole other dumpster fire of just stupidity, money, and bad decisions made on Brendan Thorsby's end. I will not give him any rest of that, but you know what? That's just my 2 cents on that matter. As far as I'm concerned with the rest of it, I literally said this 2 weeks ago to Mohr. The whole system of NIL and college football has gone downhill, and now it's basically turning college football, the sport that we love, and at the same time, the game I enjoy, that you enjoy, it's now turning into the NFL, and now it's going to be probably turned into Hollywood because of all the money deals going down. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yep. We are. It's chaos, sir. It's chaos.
It's not even just chaos. It's money and corruption, and it's a whole lot of, just a whole lot of BS going down.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it's ugly, it's bad for business, and not only is it ruining the great sport I love, and the great sport I told the NCAA they need to start acting like grown folk instead of acting like a bunch of cowards, and start letting defensive players hit hard, because apparently hitting somebody hard and sending them to the hospital is terrible. Y'all, the NCAA needs to start acting like a bunch of grown folk instead of acting like little children. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the problem with that is the NCAA is not allowed to govern the sport because they don't have any credibility in the courts, and that's why we're probably heading toward a breakaway. Conference silos, conference governance.
It's not even just a breakaway. It's just a whole lot of BS, crap, trash, and a whole lot more of Hollywood's 2 cents of an opinion, because they say that they're the only ones that have the right to opinions. Yeah, right. Like they actually understand and are concerned about athletes' health and concerned about their bodies, when they should keep their corruption to themselves, and why don't they just go get lost? And in my opinion, they shouldn't even be involved in college football. And that's just... And speaking as a former 2-time defensive captain of the year, a 3-time defensive player of the year award winner, and a 2-time MVP. That's speaking as the former captain of the defense of the team, that I could say proudly that I'm glad I hung up my cleats when I did, and to be quite frankly honest about it, I'm glad I don't have to deal with all that whole Hollywood woke crap, all that bull crap of money that's being invested in the college football.
All right.
To be quite honest.
Okay. I appreciate the call, sir. Call again, Caden Diesel. Thank you very much.
Hey, Greg.
Yep.
Actually, there's a little bit of a spoiler alert for you.
Got it.
This is actually my last call on Peek Around the Corner.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Because, I mean, I understand if you don't like my language and you feel offended, that's fine. I mean, that's your opinion. But you know what? At the same time, like I said earlier, you're the only Minnesota Golden Gopher fan that actually has respect for me, so I'll give you that.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate it, sir.
I appreciate it, Greg. And
call again.
Who knows? We might cross each other's paths one of these days. You never know.
Call again, sir. Thank you very much. Beautiful. I was the 1976 Robbinsdale Sanborn Park box hockey champion at age 8. So, anyways, woo! All right, phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. The 1976 box hockey champion of Sanborn Park, Robbinsdale, Minnesota.
Call from
Patron.
Patron, the floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir. Very much appreciate it.
Hey, man. First thing I want to start off with is what is box hockey? I'm not from Minnesota, so
box
is that
hockey
on skates or
what? No, box hockey.
Is that on skates?
No. Box hockey is a game which boy, it's hard to describe. Let me see if I can. Let me if I can find an image here. There we go. Okay, here's the image. Are you able to see it on your phone or TV or whatever?
I'm not, but I pulled it up on Google.
Okay, well, here's a picture for everybody else to see. Here is a box, and one person stands on one side of the box, the other person stands on the other side of the box, and you take your, we always used a big old stick. We always used the handle that didn't have the blade, so the other part, but whatever, hockey stick, whatever. And then there's a hockey puck. There is, if I remember correctly, there are 3 holes in the middle, 2 holes at the end, 2 holes here, 1 hole here, 1 hole there. And so at the beginning of it, you go 1, 2, 3, hit each other's stick. You're sitting on the opposite box. Then the puck is laying right here on the middle of the middle board. You hit that puck, and now you take turns. So whatever puck, whatever size, if you put it through a hole on your shot, you get another shot. If you put it through a hole on another shot, you get another shot. If you do not get the puck through the hole of the board that you're going to, the side that you're going to try to score, you don't get another shot. One person takes shots, then the other person takes shots, back and forth. That is the way that is traditionally played. There is competitions out there where both guys are swinging their sticks at the puck. Absolutely ridiculous. I've never played that. But box hockey, big sport across parts in the state of Minnesota back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. They probably don't play it anymore. But at age 8, in a double elimination competition, I beat 18-year-old Todd Brown in the finals. There was about 100 kids who showed up, and I did not lose one time. 8 years old, and I've been bragging about it ever since. Caden Diesel bragged about him being the 2-time, 3-time captain of some football team. My one thing that the mayor of Loserville City, the one thing that I did win in my life was the 1976 Sanborn Park box hockey champion. And every time I'm with the guys, we're having some beers for the last 50 years. This August is the 50th anniversary, by the way. But every time I have beers, I brag about it. The guys are sick and tired of it. My family's sick and tired of it. My wife is sick and tired of it. But I had to say it here on this live show since Caden the Diesel was coming at me with 2-time, 3-time captain. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, no, that's good to hear. So anyways, before I forget what I was going to talk about. So Greg, we talk about like gambling and the players gambling and its effect on the integrity of the sport.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. I'll tie this into your Spotlight series today on Alabama.
Yeah.
You had a player like Ryan Williams, who obviously highly touted, had a pretty good freshman year. And I think last year, didn't he lead the college football in drops?
He either led it or was close to leading it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would watch him in certain games, and I hate to say this, Greg. I hate to say that this thought even crossed my mind. But there were times where I would be like, man, is this guy trying to throw the game? And I know I shouldn't be thinking that, but in this sort of gambling world, anytime you see something that's even slightly unusual, it's like my mind automatically has started to go to, man, are they trying to do something funny here? And he had some pretty wide open drops. And I even remember, Greg, watching, I can't remember the specific game. It was like an early week action. I think it was like one of those Tuesday night, Wednesday night games. And, I'm just watching it casual. And I want to say it was Kent State. I can't remember exactly who it was, but they were driving to win the game. All they needed was a field goal. And I'm watching and I'm like, man, the coach is almost like trying to cost his team the game. And I think they did. I don't think they won the game. And I thought to myself, like, man, how would anybody know if this coach is actually trying to throw the game? Like if he's got money on it or if he's guaranteed. Because sometimes it's these smaller profile games where not as many eyeballs are on it that you can kind of get away with this stuff. And I'll give you even like another situation. This is purely hypothetical. I'm not accusing anybody of taking money or anything like that. But think about something, for example, like a Nico. I'm leaving on a jet plane.
Yep.
And we know that he was trying to hold out in the middle of the playoffs when he played for Tennessee before the Ohio State game, right? And what if somebody were to come up to his dad and say, hey, I'll give you a bunch of money if your son can throw the playoff game? And, it's clear that Nico doesn't really feel any allegiance to his team, right? I mean, all they really cared about was the money. Like, how would we stop or regulate or identify something like that? Because if you look at the Brendan Sorsby thing, what's crazy is he got his friends and family to register the betting accounts or whatever. And it's like, in order to police this, I mean, this is going to require more than just a single institution like a Texas Tech or this requires at least some kind of conference or real national intervention with these gambling houses, with the media houses. It's something that I hate to say, but I'll give you another example. I think it was Florida, Georgia. And I don't know if you remember that game, Gunnar Stockton, they were closing the game out and he decided to take a knee short of the goal line to burn the clock. Mm-hmm. Do you recall that?
Yeah,
Probably Don Scruggs might. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the time, I hate to say it, my first thought was, boy, there's a lot of people that had the Georgia plus the, minus the points that are going to lose this bet because of that. And I don't know, just the sort of permeation of gambling into virtually every sector, not even of sports anymore, but you see it in the world with these poly market, the politicians are gambling on the, Iran war deadline or, negotiation. You can gamble on the weather. It's just crazy. I don't know how they can, in theory, these all these gambling houses now are tech run, right? Like DraftKings, FanDuel, in theory, they collect so much data, they should be able to catch some of these improprieties.
Yeah.
But if you're using family members and all this kind of stuff, I mean, you never know. And some of them, like in the NBA, they were doing old school. They were doing the card game and the old mafia. And I don't know if you saw Terry Rozier and that kind of stuff. So it's like, I don't know. It's already, to me, whether the source, regardless of what happens to Sorsby, I hate to say it as a fan. I mean, this kind of resonates with what Caden was talking about in the previous call. You know, like there's a little bit of a Hollywood element to where you ask yourself, like, how much of what we're seeing is real versus, you know, how many of these players or coaches or referees, you know, got some money on the game. You know, not to be a Debbie Downer. But anyways, man, you have a good one.
You got it. I do appreciate it,
easy.
sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
That is why when you actually have the goods on a player in a sport, betting on his own sport, when you actually have the evidence, you got to come down hard. It's got to be swift. It's got to be decisive. It's like you cannot play in the sport anymore because of all the times that you don't catch it. You got to have some deterrence. You got to have some, you know, has to be obvious. And that's why people are coming down so hard on Texas Tech, because this should be an easy call. It should be an easy call. Don't play Brendan Sorsby. Don't play him. Real easy. Don't play him. You got Will Hammond. You got a great team. You're going to be fine. Brendan Sorsby's not a guarantee to win anything anyways. Don't play him. But now, you know, Cody Campbell has got his back up against the wall, and he's got the Big 12 going after them. He's got the whole. So now it's about egos. It's about, you know, not seeming to be weak. But again, Texas Tech needs to save themselves. Somebody might save them for them, but if that happens before Texas Tech makes the right call, this is going to hang on the Red Raiders for a long time. But if they can take a step back and say, all right, we'll give Sorsby help, we'll give him some money on the NIL deal, but we'll be there to support him, but he's not going to get in on the football field, then a lot of this is going to just go away naturally. Because we're going to be talking about something else next week. Somebody's got to get to Cody Campbell at Texas Tech University and say, you got to stand down. Because if not, this is going to make Texas Tech like a pariah. It's going to be an open wound every single week during the Big 12 season. And it's mostly going to affect the Big 12 unless the Red Raiders get to the playoffs. It is going to affect the Big 12 no matter what. We've got Ryan, $2 holla, the Irishman. Dancing Greg back in the house. You got it, Ryan. You're absolutely correct. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it, the Irishman. And we've got the Sun Devil. We've got the Sooner. Cope is in the house. $2 holla. Cope says the 5 absentee schools were watching Ferris Bueller. Talking about something that happened about 50 years ago, that movie. Out of 34 Big Ten and SEC schools, 29 presidents, chancellors, they showed up. 5 of them did not. I'm just going to go ahead and guess that maybe the president of Georgia was one of those who did not show up. Just a guess. Also, I would say 2 separate 30-minute meetings. And according to Ross Dellinger's reporting, the SEC and the Big Ten, they offered what they differ about the bill. And we know all about that. Also, according to Ross Dellinger, hold on a second. I just want to show something else here. That here it is, 25 minutes ago. The 2 leagues, the Big Ten and the SEC, are in the process, as previously reported, of submitting to the Senate staff members their suggested revisions to the legislation. The revisions were expected by today. The revisions are believed to be critical in garnering the support of the conference. So, they're going to change some things up. And we know the things, at least some of the things that the Big Ten and the SEC are going to change up. And some of those things is what Cantwell and Cruz says we're not taken out of the bill. So I don't know. I cannot see a compromise. I don't see this happening. Again, let me know how wrong I got it once again. NBM, that's a lot of teams meeting. Oh, George, let's guess the revisions. Hammond is injury prone and I believe won't be available game 1. I mean, that is a question, isn't it? He looked pretty good, though. He looked pretty good last year. He's got some wheels, although he got injured. His wheels got injured. Stephen Vitt, the Ohio Bobcat, if fans can't trust what they see on the field of play as being legitimate, then the house of cards collapse. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been on there for 2 hours. We're going to close it up. I do want to thank Christopher Hooter, Evil Badger, Mama Duck, Clemson Tiger, Kenneth Maynard, Bruce Harris, Leslie Hill, Christopher Hooter, Mowing After Dark, The Irishman Ryan, and Cope, the Sun Devil Sooner, for your generosity, for your donations to help us keep the lights on and grow the channel. I do appreciate it. We talked about the Texas Tech Red Raiders once again. We covered all the breaking news that was going on in this live show. We did the Alabama Crimson Tide Spotlight. Keelan Russell, E.J. Crawwell, Daniel Hill, Ryan Coleman, Williams, Yanze, the great outside linebacker, Pierre. Alabama, I got them not making the playoffs. I got them coming in 6th place, in between Texas A&M 5 and the Florida Gators number 4. Let me know how wrong I got it once again in the comment section below the video. Keep your head on a swivel. If you've liked our content today, smash the like button. Join us tomorrow. It's going to be a Wednesday, June 10th live show. I may cover what Rick called about earlier today. We'll see. I'm going to figure out my schedule tomorrow. But anyways, whatever we do here at Peek Around the Corner, whatever we do, eventually, we're going to have a spotlight on team number 45, 46 of the year. And we're going to cover everything in college football, almost everything, because we love everything in college football, almost everything. So here at Peek Around the Corner, we want to thank you for joining us. Until next time, from all of us to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. And as always, God, family,